Welcome to Cosmic Gaia, starring global alchemist and intuitive astrologer Laura Eisenhower. Her brand new show on Sci-Spi.tv kicks off with an extraordinary series featuring her spiritual journey in the magical, mystical Red Rocks of Sedona, Arizona. Enjoy.
Well, this area and location is really powerful. In early research, discovered that a lot of these canyon peaks form stars. And Mark and I were talking about the stars, pentagram and the six-pointed star, that this land holds. And a lot of areas around the planet hold this as well, but not both in one area. And when we look at the pentagram, it's very significant right now because we're moving out of a lot of reversals, particularly the electromagnetic flow of energy of Earth grids, and certain locations on the planet have been put in reversal code so that we as a humanity aren't able to pick up on these energies and have that circulation in our body, which leads to obviously physical symptoms, because any kind of energy block is going to bring about physical symptoms. And so if the circulation is disrupted, if it's put in reversals, or if there's any sort of energy block or unplugging of these grid lines, we're born into it, and through osmosis we pick this up in our physical bodies. And on top of that, we experience a lot of the societal programs and a lot of the frequency modulations and this or that. So this natural landscape and the land here helps to bring that energy flow back, and it's so much stronger than any sort of dark technology or any level of manipulation if we're holding a strong level of awareness and we're holding that intent for our physical body to receive through the earth and also cosmic energies, which mixes in our chakras. And so the significance of the star, the five-pointed star, the pentagram, is the fifth element, the ether, and the water-fire elemental mixture of that, which is coming strongly into the planet. And the astrological alignments right now is really showing that we're in this window period where that energy circulation is more available to us than it has been for many, many cycles of history, 26,000 years or so. That's why in the interview with Mark, I kept saying, oh yeah, you've been leading for 26,000 years here. I mean 26 years. Because he's been a tour guide for 26 years. Because that number is so significant as far as when things began to be really thrown off. And so when we look at pyramids, when we look at different structures around the world and the locations that they're put, it's to connect with different star systems. And the pyramid technologies went offline when certain cataclysms took place in our ancient history. But the significance of here is that these are all natural monuments, and the energy flow of the land has a lot to do with the six-pointed star, which relates to sacred union and the balancing of the masculine and feminine, and the connection of the electric and magnetic. So the magnetic will connect us to the mother, connects us to the earth in a magnetic way. The electric connects us to the male, but it's not gender when it's energetic. So it has to do with the energy field around our bodies. It has to do with the way our energy meridians work, because we're a replica of the earth grids. Our DNA is, and our chakra are connected to the multidimensional cosmos. So with these alignments happening where this restoration is taking place, it's even more significant to be in these, power centers, because they already hold this, natural flow of energy. And now that it's flowing a lot more in our awareness because of all the different things that we've gone through over the course of time and these corrections that have taken place, and also the planetary body being in alignment with the galactic core of both Andromeda and Milky Way, we're able to open up to our galactic chakras. And the presence of ether now is purifying earth, air, fire, water. And in doing that, we're able to bring together the balance of the masculine and feminine within our own nature. And as the two kind of work simultaneously, this purification of the elements, which is also connected to the nucleic acids in our DNA, are helping to rebuild the strands that have been, kind of pulled apart, which is similar to what happened with the earth grids around the areas of Glastonbury and Stonehenge. Dark technologies were put in place to unplug the Cathar and Albion bodies, which are the masculine and feminine. So this is a really powerful place to sort of rebuild the awareness of a divine architecture and blueprint that already exists. And so because it's imprinted in the land, we are receivers and conduits, and also the energy flow that we give to the earth also helps with those corrections and with the neutralization of some of this weaponry. And so a lot of the alignments, particularly right now, has to do with this balance, because here we are with the new moon in Libra, the sun is in Libra, Mercury and Venus are in Libra, and that has to do with, the balance of the masculine and feminine. And now with the ether available, with the sun moving through the 13th sign of Ficus, which is the only zodiac sign ruled by the ether, the energetic circulation is not only clearing our own inner elementals, but this, balancing of the masculine and feminine is even stronger, because the contamination and toxicity that has created this imbalance of like negative ego and dominance over the inner feminine that has been somewhat pushed down and kept in exile is now returning to the surface again. And so when we look at the alchemy, the lead turning into gold, going into the underworld and back out again, whatever energy blocks that have kept pieces of ourselves in the underworlds are now being collected and integrated to come up to the surface, to be standing in, wholeness. And so one of the most significant things that is coming up is the fact that planet Pluto is very close to the planet Saturn, and January 2020 they're going to be connected to each other. And Jupiter's moving into Scorpio. And so regardless of what's playing out on the world stage and all the craziness with how they're trying to infect our creative energies with fear or doom and gloom or anything, about, what could potentially happen to our world, it's us keeping our energy centers clear and the flow of creative energy clear and in connection to Earth and cosmos that will offset it as an override frequency, because the timeline shifted in 2010 to the planetary consciousness of the mother. And all the guardian hosts that are connected with that are able to come back in. And nothing can stop it except for how our minds can be diverted and distracted away. So holding space for this energy flow to take place is actually turning the lower levels of Saturn, which represent the energy blocks, the frequency fences, the quarantine that we've been under, and how that's impacted our physical health and the imbalances of our society and the power struggles between different polarities, masculine and feminine, and even dark and light. This integration of polarity is taking place, and Saturn is blowing my hat off. And so what's incredible is the higher levels of Saturn are teacher master. So it's through overcoming these obstacles, through recognizing that these things that want to actually stop us are things that we can, choose to overcome, like an athlete would choose to conquer any obstacle put in its way. And that's the energy of the warrior. And the rainbow levels of our chakra system, when we go into the underworlds and purify them, and they start to activate as the true color, we begin to download galactic chakra energies, and it changes the frequency of our lower chakras, and that integration of higher and lower become one. And so this is a window period that has been prophesized for thousands of years, particularly the Mayans that understood the Venus transits, which form a perfect pentagram in the sky. And a location like this is one of the first receivers of these activations that then bring about the sacred union of the six-pointed star, which this land holds, and why this has been such a sort of popular place and a sought-after place, and also a targeted area. But because we are a replica of the cosmos and Gaia, and it's up to our energy body and the choices we make to keep that energy body clear that we're able to conquer it, because we win the war within ourselves. This is a war on consciousness. And if we can understand that the lower level of Saturn are these programmings and are these assaults to throw our minds into a different trajectory, we can see those as the forces that we're overcoming. And as Pluto comes in to alchemize the lead of Saturn and turn it into gold, we are part of that creative force of the planet to drive that timeline forward and to usher as many souls as possible by sharing these activations and sharing these frequencies, not through having to force it upon people, but through our words, through the voice print that we hold, through loving intention and compassion and patience. We're able to transfer this energy, which helps them to disconnect from the AI or any sort of intrusion that's coming from Saturn Moon Matrix manipulations that really seek to keep that imbalance alive. We might see it from the level of, oh, it's patriarchal, but when we look at it, it's the imbalance of the electric magnetic, the masculine and feminine, where invading forces can leverage that imbalance. And so this is a really powerful time to reset with all this Libra energy, and this prepares us for what's to come as Pluto takes us down into the underworlds for probably the last major round, which is the dark night of the soul, to come up and conquer the energies of Saturn and recognize that it's all about self-mastery. The true goal of the Tree of Knowledge was self-knowledge, but it got externalized and targeted with mind control. And so we've externalized everything, spirituality, our medical conditions, everything that we're meant to understand from within, we've looked outside of ourselves. And so the more we work with the earth energies and the cosmic energies, knowing that this ascension is a cosmic and earthly event, but a personal initiation to open up the rest of ourselves by allowing Saturn not to block us, but to help us work with the law of structure, where we choose with our free will choices to honor the physical body and utilize it as a powerful vessel and container for the multidimensions to exist in, whereas the lower level of Saturn wants to cut us off. So we can't get rid of Saturn, but we can overcome the obstacles, and this is the most powerful time right now to engage in this transformation into the illumination of our divine blueprint. And that alchemy clears the inner elements, and the earth has no choice but to respond. And that's how we move into higher earth energies. It's the inner clearing of our inner elementals that shifts our DNA, brings things back into balance, completes the alchemy, and we have no choice but to notice a world that reflects that. And the more of us that do it, the better. Because right now we're witnessing a lot of other timelines and a lot of other things that really don't mean that that's where we're headed. Our role is to just be able to spread the vibration and inspire people to recognize that there is no lower force that can take us down unless we choose to plug into it and be a food source and buy into the program. And so I just hold the intention for all of us today to break those cords, to snap those cords, to dissolve any connection we have to the false matrix energies, and to really breathe into what's organic and what's real. And I can't imagine a more powerful time to manifest a group in a location such as this,